Hello everyone and welcome to the English room. This room was dedicated in 1952 and it is in a 16th century Tudor Gothic style. This room is modeled after the Second House of Commons, which is one half of the British Parliament. The House of Commons is the People's House. Members of Parliament are directly elected by the people. The second house is the House of Lords, where people have hereditary seats, as well as the Queen and the Anglican Church elect seats. The committee chose to model this after the second House of Commons. There have been 3 Houses of Commons total. The first one was burned in a fire, the second one was bombed in the Blitz in World War II, and the third one is still standing today. Now this room is incredibly special because we actually have artifacts from the second House of Commons in this room. For example, covering the chalkboard doors, we have linen fold paneling that would be on the walls of the second House of Commons. Over here, we have a fireplace from the eye lobby of the second House of Commons. The eye lobby is where people would go if they were to vote yes. The nay lobby would be where people would go to vote no. Now, in this fireplace, there's actually a chip taken out, and according to Nationality room folklore, it is said that that chip fell out in the Blitz in World War II. The wood from these chairs is also from the second House of Commons. The chair itself is decorated to look like that of the second House of Commons, and you can tell that through the color. On top of the chair, we have the crown and portcullis, which represents both houses of Parliament. In the back of the room, we have windows that contain glass fragments that were collected from the architect of the room from the Houses of Parliament. In this window and that window. In the middle 2 windows, we have the emblems of the House of Lords and the House of Commons. And then in the far 2 windows, we have the emblems of Cambridge and Oxford University, graduates of which are eligible to receive seats in the House of Lords. Around the room, we have different crests and emblems of different cities and people. Over up here on this wall, we have crests and emblems of Jane Austen, William Penn, and other cities. Over here, we have Florence Nightingale and Charles Dickens. Their crests were specifically made for the room. And on this last wall, we have the city of Liverpool, the city of Manchester, and St. George. Those were windows on the one side of the room. Here are windows from the other side of the room. Next to the windows, we have these rose corbels. Corbels are structural pieces. They keep the ceiling in place and to stay up so that it doesn't cave in. The first 4 corbels are carved with roses in them. That is because they are from the second House of Commons. The last 2 were donated by the university for structural purposes. They are left uncarved to show the beauty of the first 4. The seats are faced in towards each other to represent those in the second House of Commons. They would be arranged in this way so the majority and minority coalitions can face inward and discuss and debate. The debates in the House of Commons would get a little wild, so these are 2 sword lengths apart so that members can defend themselves in case of a deadly conflict. Over here we have a portrait of William Pitt. William Pitt is the namesake of Pittsburgh, and he was also a prime minister in England. Next to him we have a brick, and according to Nationality room folklore, this brick was taken by our first director of the Nationality rooms, Ruth Crawford Mitchell, while 10 Downing Street was being constructed. 10 Downing Street is the residence of the prime minister and the head of the majority coalition in the House of Commons. Over here we have a portrait of Andrew Mellon. Andrew Mellon is associated with Mellon Bank. He was a Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, and he was also the ambassador of the Court of St. James in 1931 and an alum of this institution. And these 3 pieces of furniture are Elizabethan-era furniture donated by an early chairman of the English Committee. Above the fireplace, we have a quote from Richard II, spoken by John of Gaunt, written by William Shakespeare, that reads, "Set in the silver sea, this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England." Given that this is the 2020 holiday open house, the holiday celebrated in England is Christmas. During Christmas, Christmas trees are set up decorated with tinsel, candied fruit, and other decorations like nuts. This became popular under Queen Victoria and continues to this day. Children will write letters to Father Christmas, and in early September, Christmas cakes made with citron, marzipan, and candied fruit and covered in almond paste and sugar frosting are made, and they will first be eaten at tea time on Christmas Day. Mince pies are eaten on each of the 12 days of Christmas to ensure happiness in the coming new year. Thank you so much for visiting our virtual Open House 2020. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.